everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since you saw me last. Today is all about our save the dates that we sent out back in November and how easy they are for you to make at home. To create the save the dates, we first started off with our cardstock. So I went over to Joann's. They're always running great deals on their cardstock that you can usually find. So I picked up about 35 plus sheets of their craft cardstock paper, and those came in a 12 by 12 size. Now I was able to get 3 save the dates out of that one 12 by 12 sheet. So what we'll end up doing is using the remainder of that cardstock to most likely make name cards. Now, in order for me to get the 12 by 12 cardstock to the correct size, I did end up having to go over to Michael's, where I picked up a Recollections paper cutter. Now this one also has a scoring knife on there as well as the cutting knife. So if you are doing a creased invitation, you can also go ahead and use that same cutter for that. So with that cutter, I was able to cut down the cardstock to a 4.5 by 6.5, which ended up being the perfect size to go on top of the burgundy mat. Now the burgundy mats and also the dusty rose envelopes, I actually got those online because it was hard for me to find the correct burgundy color in the stores. So I bought them off of Cards and Pockets. The mats came pre-cut already. They actually came in the same exact size as the envelope, and I couldn't get it any smaller. So when I did receive them, I went ahead and used that same Recollections cutting tool to cut it down to a 5 by 7 in order for the save the date to actually fit into the envelope. So the template for the save the date, I actually ended up making that in PowerPoint. What we did was just, after cutting the craft cardstock, we went ahead and just ran those through the printer. So after we got all the cardstock printed on, we put the tape on the back side of the craft paper. So once all the paper parts of the save the date were done, it was now time to actually work on the magnet. But the wood slices and the magnets I ordered off of Amazon. The wood slices, I actually ordered double of what I actually needed, just because when we received them, there were some that were missing some of the wood around the trim, and then there were also some that once we stamped them, they began to bleed. For the most part, they were all the same size. There were just a couple ones that there was more bark than there was the actual center of the wood, so we couldn't use them to stamp on them. And then also some of them had the bark that were missing around the edge. So I went ahead and I attached the magnet to the back of the wood slice just using plain super glue. And then for the stamp, so the stamp I actually had special made on Etsy. The stamp is something that we are definitely going to keep as a keepsake. I plan on making like a cute little wedding box that we can kind of put different mementos from different parts of our engagement and different parts of the wedding in that box, which would be nice. So I bought a ink pad. I ended up buying a jumbo ink pad. This was the second ink pad that I bought. I ended up buying like the normal small one that's maybe like that big, and it ended up being only half the size of the stamp that I had ordered. So I had to run out and go get that jumbo ink pad, which did wonders. So I went ahead and stamped all of the wood slices, and just again, it's always good to have extra because some of the ink, there was too much ink on the stamp, so they did bleed through the wood slices, so we had to throw some of those away. So while the ink on the wood slices are fully drying, it doesn't take that long, maybe like a minute or two. I went ahead and took some of the jute twine. I had a lot left over from the centerpieces that I made, so I figured why not add a little bit of an embellishment to the save the date. So I went ahead and took a cutting of that. I ended up wrapping it 3 times around the save the date cardstock, and then I tied a cute little bow tie. And then by the time I got done doing those, all of the magnets were dry and ready to be attached. So to attach the magnet to the save the dates, we did not want a permanent option. So I went ahead and took that same Scotch tape gun and I ran it across the backside of the magnet. It put a small film of the tape on there, and then I separated the twine and stuck the magnet down onto there, and using that Scotch tape just allowed for a nice clean pull apart to where it wasn't going to rip the actual save the date. So that pretty much was the save the date. It was then time to put everything in envelopes. The envelopes I did also run through the printer. I printed all the guests' names in big huge letters right across the front of the envelope. Once we got some of the save the dates into the envelopes, we felt like the envelopes were just a little too plain. So I ran back over to Joann's because there was a stamp there that I had seen that I loved. It's a cute little stamp with 2 rings on it, and it says, "In the 2 become 1." And we took that and stamped it on the, I guess it's called the lip of the envelope, and it just added a nice little embellishment to it, that little tiny bit of detail that doesn't overpower everything else, which was nice. This is the final product of what the save the dates ended up looking like. So this pretty much is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you have not already, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you know when I post next. I promise it will not be a couple months from now. So thank you for watching this video, and I will see you guys later. Bye.